Good morning, Tim. This is blog entry number 22 as part of Practicum. This week we are being asked to speak about teaching reflections, sharing observations of classroom organization, and how do students learn in the classroom best and why. Well, in terms of how students learn best, I've covered this quite a few times. I rearranged the classroom at the beginning of my semester, and it really seemed to pay off. Uh, Another way that they really learn best is finding their own ways of demonstrating their skills, knowledge, their application. I've come to understand quite quickly that through the theoretical portion, I lose a lot of students for sure. And I've tried to spice that up in certain ways. I've had one on one conversations with several students on alternative ways to get them to demonstrate their learning. And like any tech class, a lot of these students excel with the hands-on portion of the work, and they seem to really enjoy it. Which, while working on hands-on, I've also learned a lot of them will open up a lot more to me, discuss a lot more, rather than sitting doing the theoretical part, being bored at a desk. Teaching reflections. This is a big one for me. I think it's well documented. We've actually had a couple conversations about it through the Breakfast Club meetings that I knew, and I was well aware that I was a warm body entering into this situation. I wasn't brought in because I was coveted by any means. I was a nobody to them, but I was essentially, and as you're a Leaf fan, I was the Martin Jones of St. Andre Bissett. We lost Samsonov to injury. We brought in Joseph Wall to be our starter because Matt Martin went on a long-term IR. So I suppose that you could say the original tech teacher here, the automotive teacher, was Martin Jones, long-term IR. Samsonov came on, guy started to lose his confidence. Wall got injured. So I was the third string, fourth string backup brought in to save the semester, just like Martin Jones is trying to save the Leafs season. Uh, but in all that, I ran with the opportunity and I did the best that I could, and I tried to hold the fort down, and that's all that they wanted, and it gave me some valuable experiences along the way. Now, with that said, I mentioned at the meeting on the weekend there that I accepted a singular line at STA, my original host school, and that's a confidence booster because they wanted me back. I made such an impression whereas they wanted me back. So that's a good feeling. It's nice to actually be wanted based on, I don't necessarily would say merit by any means, but I did leave a fantastic impression there. And regardless of the situation where the tech head is kind of upset, I'm sure that'll boil over. Uh, I'm looking forward to going back. I'm looking forward to be back in a place where I'm wanted, where I built some relationships. And on top of that, I was offered full LTO here, all three lines of transportation once again. And that was even after they found somebody that had a transportation background. That person with a transportation background is not on the board. I believe he is somebody within our cohort. And I have expressed to St. Andre Bissett that this person, if it is indeed who I think it is, would be an excellent addition to the team here at St. Andre Bissett. But they're prepared to override any decision there by the board. The vice principal said that she would extend my LTO. I actually had somebody from the board office reach out to me from HR there, offering me this as an LTO to continue because I did such an excellent job. And I felt good. I felt really good. It felt good to know that even though this is not my broad based, they still wanted me based on my track record or my performance or my body of work. And we talked about handling things diplomatically. I'd like to say 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been so diplomatic in the bit of the fiasco that I'm having at my host school, the original school that I was at STA, when the tech, oh, I think the tech head is upset. Um, but I think that 1 year delay in joining this program really helped me develop. It's pretty well known. I went to a lot of government stuff, political stuff, and I really learned to watch my P's and Q's as time went by. I learned to be very calculated in what I put out there, how I conducted myself, recognizing the audience that I was in front of, and I think that only benefited me in my personal growth and development and better prepared me for a situation like this. I'm starting to see that there is a lot of politics involved in the education system, much more than I ever envisioned. I joked, I don't know if it was in a blog or a post, but at least when I worked in construction, uh, you knew exactly what everybody thought. Nobody bit their tongue. You knew that you were going to go to work on a Monday and work next to a guy who had a hangover because he was on a bender the night before, and you were going to work with a guy who might have been serving some weekends for DUI and all that kind of stuff. But this is I'm in a totally different arena right now. I've had to learn to be very careful and mindful of what I say. And that experience in that last year helped me mature and develop in a sense where I'm better, I'm more well equipped, I guess, to suppose to work through that. You shared with me in a response to last week's blog about not to lose sight of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I might be giving off mixed messaging. I'm not entirely sure. I'm extremely confident in my abilities. I'm very forthcoming with my emotions and my struggles, but I don't doubt my abilities in this. I don't doubt my skill set. I don't have any limitation on what I think I can do. I don't have any limitations on what I think I can achieve either. I'm always pushing forward. I'm pretty obsessive when it comes to completing a lot of the things as part of our program. I try to stay on top of things. Uh, Not necessarily to satisfy Windsor's requirements, just who I am as a person. I try to be very calculated and methodical with what I do. I know a lot of times it might seem like I'm a bit willy-nilly or I kind of wing things, but I do have a lot of purpose behind what I'm doing at all times. And I'm already thinking forward to after we graduate what kind of AQs that I might want to start taking as soon as we graduate from this program. I'm thinking about what my next step is. It's not my goal to be an educator or in a classroom per se uh, for an exceptionally long time. I have so many other interests that would appeal to me. Maybe working as a co-op lead or being a tech head one day, or even serving as a principal or vice principal, or maybe even being a professor at the University of Windsor teaching a tech ed program. I think I offer a lot of value outside of just standing in front of a classroom. There's definitely value in that, but I'm always looking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. And sometimes I get ahead of myself, and I recognize that, but I think it's part of the process, and it's what keeps me driven. When I was promoted to skilled trades, I got involved in the political scene with Monty McNaughton serving as a delegate, which was starting to open doors for me with a lot of the trades organizations. It brought me a lot of connections, and I was able to network quite well because of that. And I think it's a very valuable tool for me as an educator, having the sense of network that I have. I think I'm at an extreme advantage over some of my colleagues, whether it's in this Windsor program or just in the education system itself. I do provide a lot of insight that even my fellow tech heads aren't very familiar with, and I don't take that for granted. Next weekend, I'm going to the London Home Builders Show or London Home, whatever. I'm not entirely sure of the name, but I was just invited out last week to be a speaker at this event under the skilled trades wing of this entire 3-day weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't need to satisfy any STEM hours at this point. I don't need to uh, jump to these skill trade shows to get my name out there anymore. I did a lot of this while I was trying to get noticed in the skill trade circle. But I genuinely enjoy doing it. I genuinely enjoy networking and getting to know more of the industry players. I think it's going to pay dividends down the road. But it also keeps me on the cusp of everything, which I think is very, very important. So the announcement is about to start. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this blog. This is blog number 22, and I look forward to seeing you in blog number 23, Tim. Talk to you soon.